Good morning. What are semiconducting materials? Where they are used? What type of statistics is used? We discuss all these things in our talk today. Semiconductors are important because they have found applications in almost all branches of industry and areas of daily life. The study of semiconductors provide an opportunity to apply and test much of the theory of solids and to obtain information on transport properties which would not be obtained from the study of metals alone. There are two reasons why observations and interpretation of electronic processes is easier in semiconductors than in metals and other crystals. Firstly, the semiconductor crystals can be grown with purity far in excess of what has been achieved in the case of metals and insulators. And secondly, the mobile carrier concentration in semiconductors are low, so that the carriers can be treated as distinguishable non-interacting particles like molecules of an ideal gas. For non-interacting particles, the Pauli exclusion principle is of little consequence. Thus, instead of Fermi-Dirac statistics, we can use Maxwell-Boltzmann statistics. Then it becomes possible to obtain the analytical solutions of many problems that cannot be solved accurately using the Fermi-Dirac statistics. So, now we will discuss the different types of semiconductors, the theory of these materials, and taking elemental semiconductor such as silicon, germanium, and we also discuss what are compound semiconductors. We see in the periodic table that the members belonging to the fourth group are mainly semiconducting. For example, silicon and germanium, they belong to the group fourth of the periodic table. In nature, the substances can be classified as metals and insulators. Metals are good conductors of electricity, whereas insulators have very high values of resistivity. The resistivity scale of various substances, we know that depends upon the type of material. So, the semiconductor materials have resistivities of the range of 10 to the power of -3 to 10 to the power of 8 ohm centimeter. This is one of the way to classify materials based on the electrical conductivity of materials. Now we discuss about the classification of semiconductors. Semiconductors can be classified in many ways. One classification may be according to the nature of the current carriers. We have ionic and electronic semiconductors. In ionic semiconductors, the conduction takes place through the movement of ions and is accompanied by mass transport. In an electronic semiconductor, current is carried by electrons and no mass transport is involved. Semiconductors may also be classified as elemental and compound semiconductors. In an elemental semiconductor, all the constituent atoms are of same kind, whereas a compound semiconductor is composed of atoms of two or more different types of elements. Another way of classifying semiconductors is according to their structure. A semiconductor may be amorphous, polycrystalline, or single crystal. The nature of crystalline structure has significant influence on the properties of the semiconductor. Amorphous semiconductors have short range order and can be considered to be quasi-periodic. They display poor characteristics in terms of carrier mobility and lifetime. In the majority of semiconductor, this property is exhibited. Polycrystalline semiconductors show electrical behavior similar to that of single crystals, but the conductivity is significantly lower because of the presence of grain boundaries that obstruct the flow of mobile carriers. However, they are found only limited use. What are elemental and compound semiconductors? As the name suggests, elemental semiconductors, two important semiconductors are germanium and silicon, as we have shown in this table. And out of germanium and silicon is more abundantly used. All the group 4 elements have 2 electrons in the outermost subshell and crystallize in a diamond type of structure, which the neighboring atoms are bound by homopolar cohesive forces. These forces determine the two types of properties of these materials, that is the melting point and the energy gap. The cohesive forces are weakened by an increase in the atomic number and this is reflected by an increase in the size of the atom and decrease in the melting point and the band gap. There is a gradual transition from strongly insulating to essentially metallic behavior. The diamond, for example, is an insulator, whereas near room temperature, alpha tin or behaves almost like a metal. Now we discuss what are compound semiconductors. A number of compound semiconductors have found applications in various devices. The most important among them are intermetallic 3,5 and 2,6 compounds. Some 4,6 compounds also exhibit semiconducting properties, but most of them have a small band gap that limits the use to infrared detectors and lasers. 3,5 compound semiconductors. These semiconductors are compounds formed from the elements in the group 3A, all metals, with those in group 5A. If we ignore the compounds of thallium and bismuth, we present the remaining 16. That is, if we make the combinations of nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic and antimony with those of group 3rd A, that is boron, aluminum, gallium and indium, we can get a combination of boron nitride, boron phosphide, boron arsenide, boron antimony, aluminum nitride, aluminum phosphide, aluminum arsenide, aluminum antimonide, gallium nitride, gallium phosphide, gallium arsenide, gallium antimonide, indium nitride, indium phosphide, indium arsenide, indium antimonide. All the compounds are potential semiconductors. Boron and nitrogen compounds, for example, have been included only for the sake of completeness. Aluminum compounds are not very stable and usually disintegrate with time. The 6 most important semiconductors are gallium phosphide, gallium arsenide, gallium antimonide, indium phosphide, indium arsenide, indium antimonide. These are those which are very importantly used in semiconducting technology. Most of the 3,5 semiconductors have zinc blende crystal structure. 8 valence electrons are shared between a pair of nearest atoms, so that on an average each atom has 4 valence electrons. This suggests that the bonding has covalent character and the cohesion between atoms is homopolar. Therefore, we expect the properties of these compounds to be similar to those corresponding to the 4th group of elements. Since the elements of group 3 are more electropositive and those of group 5 are more electronegative than those of group 4 elements, the bonding in 3,5 compounds has a partial ionic character as well. Therefore, the cohesive force between atoms present the cohesive force of the covalent bonding plus an additional term because of ionic contribution. As a result, the cohesive force and the strength with which the valence electrons are bound to the atoms are higher for those crystals than those corresponding to 4th group semiconductors. This is evidenced by the fact that each of these compounds has a higher melting point and a larger band gap compared to 4th group elements. For example, we consider indium antimonide and alpha tin. These substances have the same lattice constant and the same average atomic number and atomic weight. On the basis of purely covalent bonding, the two should exhibit the same properties. However, because of partial ionic character of bonds in indium antimonide, it has a higher melting point, that is of the order of 525 degrees centigrade, and larger band gap of the order of 0.17 electron volt at 300 Kelvin. Because of their covalent character, the 3,5 semiconductors form a link between group 4 elements and 2,6 compounds. Therefore, most of their characteristics can be deduced from those of neighboring materials. To apply these considerations, we draw isoelectronic 3,5 compounds to their. Most of the characteristics can be deduced from those of the neighboring materials. To apply these considerations, by assigning isoelectronic 3,5 compounds to their group 4 elements, the average total number of electrons, the core plus valence electrons per atom is in a row is nearly the same, and this is what is meant by term isoelectronic. It is seen that certain materials change gradually when one moves from one end to the other in a horizontal and vertical directions. In the vertical direction, the cohesive energy and the energy gap Eg decrease with increasing atomic number. This is because an atom with a large number of electrons, the core electrons repel each other with a greater force. This results in weak cohesion of atoms and loose binding of valence electrons. Decreasing the binding energy results in wider allowed bands and narrower band gaps. In horizontal direction, both the cohesive energy and the energy gap increase in horizontal transition from elemental to compound semiconductors. This happens because of the increased cohesion due to the ionic contribution. The technical importance of 3,5 semiconductors is that they provide a wider choice and band gap to the elemental semiconductors. Some of these compounds have energy gaps corresponding to the visible region of spectrum and have found applications in light emitting diodes. Like indium antimonide and indium arsenide are used in galvanomagnetic devices. A major problem with compound semiconductors is that their preparation in single crystal form is more difficult. The bond formation process usually encourages a uniform growth, and if we would therefore expect the stoichiometry of the compound to be established during the crystal growth. However, because of the different vapor pressures of the constituents near the melting point, one component may vaporize more rapidly, causing an excess of the other type of atoms. These excess atoms may either get trapped interstitially in the lattice or may precipitate out to form second phase. Either of these possibilities destroy the stoichiometry. The 3,5 compounds have general formula of A3B5. However, several of these compounds have identical structures and similar lattice constants. Such compounds exhibit complete solid solubility in each other, and structures of the form of AX3B1 - X to the power 3 C5 are possible, with X ranging continuously from 0 to 1. The properties of such compounds may vary smoothly with composition. Thus, it is possible to grow crystals of a compound like aluminium X, gallium 1 - X arsenide. Similarly, the growth of crystals having two different group 5 elements like GaPy As1 - Y is also possible. Now we discuss what are 2,6 compound semiconductors. These compound semiconductors are formed by the combining the elements in groups 2nd B and 6th A in the periodic table. So we can get the combinations of 6th A group, that is oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, and the elements of 2nd B group, zinc, cadmium, mercury. That gives rise to zinc oxide, zinc sulfide, zinc selenide, zinc telluride, cadmium oxide, cadmium sulfide, cadmium selenide, cadmium telluride, mercurous oxide, mercurous selenide, mercurous sulfide, mercurous telluride. So among these oxides, zinc oxide is found use in both electrophotography and electrosensitive material and in paints and varnishes. Little information is available about the semiconducting properties of cadmium oxide and mercuric oxide. The remaining three groups, 6 elements, are called chalcogenides. Among the chalcogenides of mercury, both mercurous selenide and mercurous telluride are semimetals, whereas mercurous sulfide is a semiconductor. The remaining 6 compounds are of potential second 6 semiconductors. The crystal structure of these compounds is rather complex. Cadmium sulfide and cadmium selenide crystallize in the HCP word-side structure, and zinc telluride and cadmium telluride in zinc blend structure, whereas zinc sulfide and zinc selenide can exist in both these forms. The bonding in these compounds is a mixture of covalent and ionic types. This is because the average number of electrons per atom is still 4, but group 6 atoms are considerably more electronegative than group 2 atoms, and this introduces ionicity. The ionic character varies considerably over the whole range and increases as the atomic size decreases. The zinc sulfide is predominantly ionic. The bonding is nearly covalent in mercury telluride. The ionic character has effect of binding the valence electrons rather tightly to the lattice atoms. Thus, the band gaps of these compounds are larger than those of the covalent semiconductors of comparable atomic weights, although their hardness does not match that of covalent semiconductors. Because of their large band gaps, these materials are considered potential sources of electroluminescent devices. Like 3,5 compounds, ternary compounds of the form A2BX6 C1-X6 can also be obtained from many of these semiconductors. Thus, it has been possible to grow crystals of zinc SX Se1-X with X ranging from 0 to 1. Here again, the properties of resulting compound vary gradually with fraction of X. Now we discuss what are narrow gap semiconductors. Another class of semiconductors that have been received considerable attention in recent years because of their applications as infrared detectors and radiation sources are 4-6 narrow gap semiconductors. 4 of these compounds, that is lead sulfide, lead selenide, lead telluride and lead telluride crystallize in simple cubic NaCl crystal structure. The bonding in these compounds is mainly ionic and some covalent contribution. With the exception of tin telluride, all these compounds have small band gap and low effective mass of the carriers. In 4-6 compounds and their alloys, single crystals of somewhat inferior quality can easily be prepared. These crystals have a number of defects such as voids, inclusions, dislocations and point defects. High quality crystals are difficult to prepare. Other semiconductors are they have semiconducting property which include a number of metallic oxides such as magnesium oxide, cuprous oxide and large number of transition metals such as titanium oxide, vanadium oxide, ferrous oxide and nickel oxide. And there are many other oxides that have the general formula AB2O4, where A is a second group element, B is a transition metal. Typical examples of this class are magnesium, ferrous oxide, zinc ferrous oxide. Some of these compounds have found uses in devices such as thermistors, but most of them are mainly of academic interest. I now thank you. Thank you.